Alrighty, got some fun hip stretches for you. Of course, we're going to be utilizing some resistance bands. It's my favorite way to deepen the stretches. And we're going to be going over ways in which you're going to increase flexibility as well as mobility, even though those two terms are very related and flexibility protocols can help with mobility and vice versa. But there are ways to focus more in on one versus the other. First things first, we're using the thickest bands we have, and you honestly may even need to stack bands, which is why I have a second one here. It's all going to depend on your fitness level, your body weight, or just your comfortability in general. But for all the stretches, we're going to be spending time inside the loop here. And of course, we want our bands set at about hip level because that's what we're focusing on is the hips. And we can go all around the hips, which is what we're going to be doing here, but starting with our sides. Now again, the band is meant to support your body weight. So if you need to end up stacking bands, that might be necessary, but I'm okay to just use the one. Get some tension in that band so it can assist you with the stretch. Now you may notice this big gap between my feet. That's going to be ideal for helping you stabilize. For all of the above, it's going to be a little bit challenging to stabilize, so that's an added benefit of these, is you're going to be able to work on your stability as you're working on flexibility and mobility, but you don't want the stability demands to get too much in the way with working on your flexibility and mobility. So with that, you're going to have to position yourself properly in order to not have you get pulled in towards the anchor. So that's what happens when the legs are closer together. So again, tension in the band. And then you're just going to allow that band to pull your hips in towards the anchor. You can even stretch your lats at the same time there. So this is a static hold. This is going to be most ideal for the flexibility equation, as well as utilized as something post-workout as a cool down, sort of reset the muscles, so to speak, and allow them to perhaps not become as tight after you just brutalize them in the gym. But if you want to make it more dynamic, which is ideal for pre-workout warm-ups, that's when you're going to move in and out of that stretch. And I'm not somebody who gets super hung up on the amount of reps you're doing with these mobility movements, but ideally you'll be doing at least 10. And then for the static holds, probably holding for a minimum 30 seconds, but you can go upwards of a minute plus. So of course you got two sides, so make sure you do both. I'm not going to show you both because that's redundant. So we'll go to our back side next. So band is along our back there. Again, tension in the band. And similarly as with the first stretch, you got to position yourself so you're going to be a bit more stable. So if you're super upright, it's going to be a lot harder to not get pulled in towards your anchor. So with that, you're going to be leaning back a little bit. Then from here, we're going to extend through the spine. And every time you extend, I want you to also make sure those glutes are engaged. So again, static hold versus dynamic. And my band's coming out of where I want it. There we go. And then and back. Alrighty. Then finally, actually, one more note. This is an advanced thing, but it's worth throwing in there just in case. But if you're at a point where you want to take things to the next level, bear with me here, okay? I might not look the prettiest doing this, but you can extend further through the spine and go into a bridge. And this might be one where you want to use more than the one band, just because it's going to force the band a bit harder than if you're doing it just by reaching back versus all the way back into a bridge. Okay. And then we can come up out. See, again, not the prettiest. That might be where I want to use two bands. Back. And up. Again, more advanced, so please start very small and maybe eventually give this a try. And the last one we're going to go over, going to attack the front side. So in the little hingy portion of the hips there, we're going to fall forward, spinal flexion. Basically getting down into a downward facing dog yoga pose. But it's going to be pulling the hips back more, again, because of that band assistance. And you may even feel more stretch in the backs of your legs. So static hold versus more dynamic. So thrusting forward, flexing the butt. Reach down. Forward. Yes. Wow. All right. So this is something that I would imagine most people can do. But again, you want to make sure you have the proper equipment. So these nice bands, they should be thick. And, don't go into this willy-nilly. Make sure you feel stable before you start. Be safe and enjoy.